The Russian Aerospace Forces on August 19 to 20 deployed its most heavily armed aircraft, the Tu-160 and Tu-95 MSM strategic bombers, to support a large-scale strike against targets in the Kiev region, as the country's combat aviation has played an increasingly central role in its air campaign. The two bomber types between them are reported to have launched over 40 cruise missiles. The strikes targeted a series of facilities in Kiev involved in the production, assembly and storage of unmanned systems. Among the reported targets was the Fire Point LLC industrial facility, which Russia says produces components for long and medium-range strike UAVs and assembles and stores boosters used in the production of Flamingo cruise missiles. Another reported target was the Ukrspetsistems Systems commercial and warehouse complex, which Russian sources described as being involved in producing components for long and medium-range strike UAVs, conducting large component assembly of fixed-wing UAVs and storing unmanned systems. The facility therefore represents part of the industrial and logistical infrastructure supporting Ukraine's rapidly expanding domestic UAV industry. The strikes also reportedly hit the Antonov State Enterprise, one of Ukraine's most prominent aviation manufacturers. Russian sources claimed the facility was involved in producing the long-range An-196 drone in addition to the development and manufacture of various types of manned aircraft. Antonov's facilities have consequently become increasingly relevant to Russia's campaign against Ukraine's military-industrial infrastructure. An ammunition warehouse in Kiev was also reportedly struck, which according to Russian claims, it stored M900 thermobaric aerial bombs, anti-tank mines and ammunition intended for Baba Yaga-type UAVs. The destruction of such storage facilities could reduce Ukraine's ability to sustain operations by removing stocks of weapons and specialized munitions before they reach frontline units. The Martusivka Transport and Logistics Center was also targeted, and reportedly stored and distributed dual-use goods, including materials and equipment used in the production of long and medium-range UAVs, robotic systems and electronic warfare equipment. Its reported targeting illustrates the growing importance of logistics infrastructure in Russia's campaign against Ukraine's defense industrial base. Strategic bombers such as the Tu-95MS and Tu-160 provide the Russian Aerospace Forces with the ability to launch large numbers of long-range cruise missiles from outside Ukrainian airspace, while ground and sea-based systems provide additional strike capacity. Both bomber types integrate the Kh-101 cruise missile as their primary non-nuclear weapons, which combine a long range with high precision and advanced radar evading capabilities. The missile has seen its design refined considerably since first being used against Ukrainian targets in 2022. While the Tu-95 MSM has been employed throughout Russia's air campaign, the Tu-160 was used to strike targets in Ukraine for the first time only in June 2025. The employment of Tu-160 and Tu-95 MSM bombers underscores the continued centrality of Russia's strategic aviation fleet in long-range strike operations. These platforms enable the launch of large salvos of cruise missiles from relatively safe distances, reducing exposure to Ukrainian air defenses and long-range strike systems. The Tu-95 MSM has been a mainstay of such operations throughout the conflict, while the Tu-160 has seen more selective use since its first reported combat employment against Ukrainian targets in 2025. The ability to generate salvos exceeding 40 air-launched cruise missiles in a single coordinated package demonstrates sustained operational availability of both the aircraft and the associated munitions stockpile. From a military technical perspective, the Kh-101 family of cruise missiles offers a combination of range, accuracy and reduced radar cross-section that complicates interception. When integrated into a multi-axis, multi-type strike package that includes ballistic missiles and large numbers of drones, the attack is designed to saturate and deplete air defense resources while seeking to degrade specific industrial nodes. Ukraine's defense industry, particularly its rapidly growing domestic UAV and long-range strike missile production, has become a recurring focus of Russian targeting as Kiev expands indigenous capabilities to offset limitations in Western-supplied systems. Ukrainian interception rates for cruise missiles in this engagement were high by the standards of recent operations, consistent with statements that air defenses typically neutralize the large majority of such threats when sufficient interceptors and fighter coverage are available. The residual hits and the reported civilian toll nevertheless highlight the challenges of defending a wide area against coordinated, high-volume attacks, especially when ballistic and hypersonic systems are included in the mix. The strike fits a broader pattern observed in 2026 in which Russia has periodically concentrated cruise and ballistic missiles for larger packages after periods of stockpiling, while continuing regular lower-intensity drone and missile activity. At the same time, Ukrainian long-range strikes against Russian industrial and logistics targets have sought to impose reciprocal pressure on Moscow's defense production and energy infrastructure. Both sides continue to adapt tactics, munitions and industrial prioritization in response to the other's capabilities. Strategic bombers remain a flexible and resilient element of Russia's long-range strike architecture. Their ability to deliver substantial numbers of sophisticated cruise missiles from outside the most contested airspace provides a persistent option for targeting Ukraine's defense industrial base. The overnight operation of the 19th to the 20th of August illustrates both the scale that can still be generated and the layered defensive challenge it presents. As the conflict continues, the effectiveness of such strikes will be measured not only by immediate damage assessments but by their cumulative impact on production rates, logistics and operational tempo on both sides.